Hariom everybody. Last week we saw a very important verse. Karmanni vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala hetur bhuhu mate asangotsva akarmani. Your right is on duty alone. So we saw that verse with respect to Arjun, specifically how it applied to Arjun. Arjun said he did not want to fight the war. So Bhagwan is reminding him, no, it is your duty right now to fight the war, so you must. Then Arjun said, should we win or should we allow them to win? Means he had presumed that he could win the war, that he will win the war, and then he may think about allowing them to win the war. So Bhagwan says, no, you have no right over the result of that action. Your right is on action, doing the action, but not on the, because he has presumed that he can win the war, he will win the war, and he will decide whether he will win or he will allow them to win. And Bhagwan says, no, you cannot fix the result before even the karma has begun. Even after karma begins, you should not. Then he said, I do not want to kill. I do not want to kill. Bhagwan says, don't take doership. Don't take ownership of your action, because the one actually, we talked about this in Vivek Chudamani, the one who is actually doing the action, the ego, the jiva, the reflection of consciousness, it's itself not true. So Bhagwan says, don't take ownership of any action. Okay, then should I just not act? No, that is not your choice either. So for us, our duty-oriented life will make this verse, we will have fulfilled this verse if we lead a duty-oriented lives, where we focus on what our duty is and not like, it is my right, this is my right, that is my right. Don't go on harping on the rights. Think what your duty is and do it. When you do your own duty, your rights will automatically get fulfilled. They will be fulfilled. Do not project into the result, because the result is not dependent only on the action that you have done, because there are many other factors that are going into the result, which none of us know, we don't know. So don't project the result. That way also it takes the pressure from the karma, like, will I get this, will I get this, that sort of excitement will not be there when the action is being performed. So don't project the result. Plan the result, but don't insist on a particular result. No action is undertaken without a planned result. It is not possible to just do some then you're doing random actions, you don't want any result out of it. That's different. And don't take ownership. The I do, that insistence that I'm the one that is doing this action and I'm the one that will enjoy, that I has to be reduced. The notion has to be reduced that I'm doing it. And we'll see now how it is to be done, because in the next verse, that is what it's telling us. And then Bhagwan says, don't ever resort to laziness, indolence, procrastination. I won't do anything. That is also not an option. So we saw this verse, and with students, I told you, when we are at work, doing our duty, we can select what we want to do. The student can select the subject of his choice, but not doing anything is not an option. But that this subject only must be taken, that also should not be, where the aptitude of the student is, that student should be allowed to take that, but he must take something. Okay, and then do the best and don't worry about the result. If you do the best results will come. This is what should be told. If you worked hard enough for your exam, you will get whatever grade that you want. And about doership, that is not for students, it is not a feasible thing to say. They won't understand it. So actually motivation is at that stage is good. If you do this, you will get this, or we will give. When they were very little, the stars were enough, when the children were very, one gold star, you will, oh, mom gave me. So, at whatever stage, whatever carrot that you can offer them, you offer them. Because at that stage, to tell them don't have doership, that for student, no, not that, okay? but they definitely have not an option. Oh, I'll just not go to school today. No, that is not an option at all, at all. Then the question arises, okay, I act, I must. How should I act? Act, I must. This is what Bhagavan said. You must act. You must do your duty. Therefore, Bhagavan continues. We have read this verse, so we'll now see in detail. We saw just the general meaning. So this yogastha kuru karmani. Okay. Mate sangotso akarmani, yogastha kuru karmani. So do not resort to inaction, but do action steadfast in yoga. Stha is staying. Yoga, stha means staying. So staying in yoga, kuru is to do, kru dhatu, and karmani. So that duty, do it by staying in yoga. And what is yoga? So in Vivekji's class also he mentioned, chitta vritti nirodha yoga. So yoga is, as he said, balance or equanimity or quietness of mind. Chitta vritti nirodha. Nirodha is cessation. Cessation of chitta vritti. Cessation of thought in the mind means when the mind, when thoughts in the mind sees, what does it mean? Mind is at peace. That's what it means. So what is being told is do your action, do your duty, being with a peaceful mind. When the mind is at peace, that time. Now, the question arises, how do I keep my mind at peace? That is where the principles now begin for us, principles of Karma Yoga. So the first principle of Karma Yoga, because Bhagavan has already called it as Buddhi Yoga, the first Buddhi, the first type of mindset that we should have is Kartavya Buddhi. When I have, what is Kartavya? Duty. If I impose a sense of duty on every action that I'm doing, what does duty do? What does that mean? This is my duty. Whether I like it or I don't like it, it is my duty. I have to do it. So you have now reduced your likes and dislikes to an extent, if you practice Karma Yoga, to an extent where they are neutralized. When likes and dislikes are neutralized, what is happening to the mind? The mind is at peace. The mind will be at peace. The reason that the mind is getting agitated is because it has likes and it has dislikes. So constantly it is running towards one thing and towards away from the other thing. And that is what is disturbing the mind. So when you impose anything, and very important, because even Karma Yoga, eating is an action, breathing is an action, speaking is an action. All those have to be converted into karma. Means not just that, my work or my this or that, cooking. No. So if you say I'm eating as a duty, okay, because if you want to convert eating into Karma Yoga, impose. So when you say, oh, this is my duty, to whom? To my own body. Okay, there is because I am not the body. Remember, I'm not the body. So there is a duty towards my body, and I have to eat as a duty to maintain my body. Now, if I have this firm determination that I am eating as a duty for my body, will I put anything wrong in my body? Will I overeat? Will I, anything that will harm my body, will I do it? Will I smoke? Will I drink? Because duty-oriented life, right? So everything has to be duty-oriented, including our own shower. I have to take a shower. I don't like today, it's too cold. I won't. No, it is my duty to take shower. So whether it is freezing temperatures outside or it's whatever it is outside, I will take a shower. Duty, that is what is meant by duty oriented. Therefore, Kartavya Buddhi is the first Buddhi with which every action must be undertaken. So when I was in the Dharma Seva course many years ago, we were doing this chapter, and Swamiji, who was doing, he said to me, so how do you think breathing becomes a Karma Yoga, And I was very new at that time. I thought, that's right, because breathing we are just doing since birth. We don't even know. He said, no, breathing is an action. It has to be Karma Yoga. How would you do it? So I ran to, who? At that time, Swami Shivatmananda was only Girish Patel. He had not joined the course. That was the time when Guruji told him, next year you come for the course. But he was only, so we became friends because he was doing seva in the kitchen. He used to clean the kitchen floor, and I had to do seva to Swami Ishwananji. So I was cleaning his room. So we were both like exchanging notes, and we were like kind of close. So of course I ran to him. I knew at night he would be cleaning because, Krish, Swami Nikhilanji is asking me how. He said, oh, really? Let me think about it. Because he had to think. Then he thought about it. I said, no, I have to go tell Swamiji. Now you think and you tell me. So he said, when you are aware that you're breathing, it becomes karma yoga. See, most of the time we are not even aware that we are breathing. It's an involuntary action. Actually, medically speaking, it is involuntary. It will go on. It happens even in our sleep. Right? Everything else stops with this thing. But he said, every time you're aware, that's where the principle of pranayama comes in. So what is pranayama? You are concentrating only on the breath. You take it in, you hold it there, then you leave it out, then you keep it out for some time, then you take it in from one nostril, let go from the other nostril. So that whole principle of pranayama is a karma yoga with respect to breath. So then I went back, I said, Swamiji, this but that's how it, that's why every action, that's why it's very important. Okay, so the first is yogastha kuru karmani, is do it as a duty. Everything. So when you impose that duty, whether you like it or not, and that's what Bhagavan said to Arjun, it is your duty to fight. And in that fight, you're supposed to kill. Now you kill. You don't like to kill, but now that is not a problem. So whatever is your duty, you do. Then next instruction. Also, Sangam Tyaktva Dhananjaya. Dhananjaya, name of Arjun, we have seen that name. Sangam Tyaktva, renounce Sangha, attachment. Attachment to what? Attachment to the karma itself first. Because first karma comes, then result comes. So first there is, so there also this Kartavya Buddhi will help. So this buddhi is asanga buddhi. The next one is asanga buddhi. Now, when you're doing it as a duty, automatically asangata will come. Because whether I like it or not, what is sangha? What is attachment? Like, love, that I like. So as it is, when I put this, and when I superimpose the idea of duty, like and dislike, so sangha is not there. Asangata will automatically follow. So asangata, this non-attachment, has to be to the karma while doing the karma. And when that result comes, also there has to be asangata. Because only when there is non-attachment to the result, sukha dukkha will become sama. Sukha dukkha same krutva will be fulfilled when I get a result and I remain neutral. I remain asanga. But if I follow this duty thing, automatically asangata will come. The second non-attachment is to the doership. I do, that notion we have to be free of attachment from as well. So when I free myself from doership, the enjoyership I automatically free. I automatically free myself from that. See, these things come automatically. So the base is Kartavya Buddhi. The base of Karma Yoga, it's that foundation. So if I really truly do every action as a duty, I will not be attached to it. It is my duty to get up in the middle of the night and feed my baby. There's no question that I don't like to get up in the middle of the night. It is my duty to look after my family, or the cooking that I have to do. Then I don't like cooking. No, it's my duty. Even cooking, even if I'm living alone, it is my duty to feed my body. How much am I going to eat outside? So I get over that like and dislike doesn't matter to me now. It's my duty. I have to maintain my body. Duty is to maintain the body, not to fatten it, but to maintain it. Same way goes with exercise. It is my duty to exercise the body. So I get up in the morning and I go for a walk. It is my duty to do this. It is my duty to do. What we do is, this duty sometimes gets misunderstood, and then whatever I like to do, is it not my duty to look after my grandchild? That's what I do. That is wrong. That is wrong. Therefore, duty has to be understood very, very well. In Vanaprastha, duty Duty changes minute to minute. That's number one. But as per our ashram, so a brahmachari, his duty, main duty is to study, be in school studies. Grahastha, main duty is to earn money, earn wealth. Okay? And Vanaprastha, Swadhyaya. Vivekji talked about Swadhyaya also. The studies has to become the main. And sannyas, of course, but these are the three. So that is our main duty, and then we have to do that, and in that, if we find time, we do the other things. We never, see, he talked about sacrifice and compromise, right? Sacrifice is when you're giving up the higher for the lower. Compromise is when you're giving up the lower for the higher. So my duty is, like, my duty is doing this lecture. Actually, just now my friend, she took a taxi to the airport. She was here last night. And I said, either I can drop you early to the airport, but because I have a lecture. So that comes on the top. In that, if she was arriving or if she was leaving after the lecture, no problem. I would have taken her. So you think what is your duty in your stage of life, and that is your primary duty. And the rest you fit in there. Okay, I'll do this and then I'll do all these other things. That way. And so that will automatically give you asangata. So sangam tyaktva, Bhagavan is saying, renounce attachment, automatic detachment will come. Then what? Siddha asiddhyo samo bhutva. Sama word comes again here, and siddha asiddha is the result. Siddha here is not to be understood as siddhis, that, you know, I will be able to do some supernatural powers. No, 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 no. That is not the meaning of siddhi here. Siddhi is what I want, and asiddhi is what I did not want. So result. So now prasad buddhi. So the third one is prasad buddhi. What is prasada? When do we get prasada? Normal thing is we go to the temple, then the priest says prasad. Before I go to the temple, maybe I go to a shop and I buy a coconut or some sweets or some fruits. Do I say, give me prasad to the shopkeeper? Like, of course, in India, here we don't have to say anything to anybody, we can pick up. But do I say, give me prasad, or do I say, give me apple, or give me fruit, or give me coconut? I say, give me mithai or whatever, right? I don't say, give me prasad. Then I take that same thing. I don't touch it. I don't eat it. I don't smell it. You know, I take it as this thing. I take it to the temple. I give it to the priest. Then the priest just offers it and he says, prasad le lo. So when it comes back, it is called prasad, quote unquote. Until then, it is not called prasad. So prasad is something which has been offered to the Lord and returned, come back. That is what becomes prasad. So when I offer the karma, that's why in an earlier verse, we said, karma should be done with Ishwar Arpana Buddhi. And that Ishwar Arpana Buddhi will come when we make it as a duty. When my life is duty oriented, then my whole life is offered to the Lord. So when I do that as an offering, the karma means what? What am I going to do? Take this speech physically and put it in front of my altar? No, it's only in my mind that I say that I'm doing it for my guru or God or whatever. So when I offer it, then that result becomes a prasad. And when prasad comes in a temple, when prasad comes, suppose, and then what, that whoever has offered it, what they do, they go around, hey, prasad hai le lo, right? In the temple, have you seen that, right? We do it. Like if I take something, then that whole box I will not bring home. Whoever is there, I'll say, okay, prasad. So suppose somebody is offering, I don't like that. Do I say, that I don't like, huh? I won't. Prasad, when the word I hear, I will take at least a little bit. Won't I? Won't I? I will accept. So what comes is acceptance. Whether I like it or I don't like it. If it is prasad, I will take it. So when you put that idea, superimpose, this is all superimposition. Huh? You superimpose the idea of prasad on that result, whether it is siddha or asiddha, means whether it is what I wanted or whether it is what I did not want. Now it is prasad. Now I have no choice but to accept. And the result, don't think that it came by mistake. You know, like courier company, if your address is on there and that guy is trying to say, ma'am, this is yours. And I say, no, I don't want it. What will he do? He will leave it outside your door and go. That result is like that. Never has God made a mistake. Ishvara doesn't make a mistake in dishing out the result. Oh, maybe Ishvara made a mistake, you know, this is maybe not for me. Maybe this is for somebody else. No, no, that does not happen. With Ishvara, with courier company, it might happen. Wrong address or wrong apartment number could be there, maybe the building, but wrong, something could be mistake. But with Ishvara, there is no mistake. So whatever result is coming back, when you have offered it, it will become prasad. You prasad, when that word comes, you will accept. And when you accept, what comes? Peace of mind comes. The whole technique is to make the mind peaceful. If you can make it peaceful without this, that's jnana. That is knowledge. That's why jnanis, they get out of karma really fast. Because when you have the knowledge and your mind is at peace for everything, then that's fine, because that is the goal. Peace of mind is the goal. So here we see kartavya buddhi, asanga buddhi, siddha, asiddha, sama, equanimous. So prasada buddhi. And then Ishvara arpana buddhi is known as samarpana buddhi. Samarpan is what? Surrender. Surrender. So you surrender to the will of God, and you offer that action. Offer the action means what? Oh Lord, I know that it is because of you that I'm able to do this. It is because of you that I'm breathing. If I can't even breathe without your sanction, what action will I do? What will I do anything further? So it is because of you that I'm doing this. That is all. It is just an attitude. That attitude we need to change. When I change that, then there is some samarpan buddhi. And when I follow all these, what is coming in and through all this? See, duty means likes and dislikes neutralized. So peace. Asangata, okay, whatever came, I accept. Okay. I'm detached to the doership, so I remain detached to the result. Then because of that detachment, whatever result comes, prasad, sama, then everything is done as a servant of the Lord. See, there is a master who tells the servant, go to shop A and buy B and this much money. Now that servant has a brain of his own. So he knows that if he goes to some another shop, it'll be cheaper. He says, oh, what do I care? It's my master's money. He told me to go this particular shop, buy this, it is costing him double. If I have to buy this, I will go to that other shop and buy it at a half a price. But it doesn't matter to me. So he goes and he just buys it from that shop. So we should be like that. This is God's work. Now, one thing you remember, that just because it's God's work, it should not be done haphazardly. Yeah? It has to be done to the best of your ability. So kartavya, karma yoga is not nishprayojana, means purposeless. It is not. It's nishkama. Nishkama means without the insistence on result. But that doesn't mean that I'm not insisting on a particular result. Doesn't mean I can do the karma in any which way. That is not right. That is not correct. So it's when I accept this prasad, again, I'm getting peace of mind. When I have surrendered to the Lord, I have peace of mind. Okay, this is Lord's work. So Lord will take care of the work, as well as Lord will also take care of the result, whatever is just coming. He will take care of it. So this, and then what does that give us? Samatva buddhi it gives us. So there is samatha in and through these principles. So therefore, there are these 5 principles. When we are asked, I've been asked to talk, or Swamiji's also, they've been asked to talk just on karma yoga. So we don't quote the verses, but this is what we say. This is what I would say if I was to give a lecture, or anybody who wants to speak on karma yoga, don't have to mention Bhagavad Gita, but these are the principles: kartavya buddhi, asanga buddhi, prasada buddhi, samarpan buddhi, and samatva buddhi. So these are the 5 buddhis, and that's why it's buddhi yoga. That's what Bhagwan has said. There's a 5, because in the earlier verse also we said it is method and attitude which determines whether a karma is karma yoga or not. Otherwise, it is karma only. Method and attitude. So attitude is in the mind. Method is also in the mind. Method is as a servant of the Lord. Attitude is as a servant of the Lord. Method is without attachment. So both of them are in the mind. Na? Attachment also it's in the mind. So it's a mental attitude that needs to be changed for converting karma into karma yoga. No need to change the karma. No need to go find a specific karma somewhere, volunteer, let me help somebody, they need help, I can help. That itself gives ego. So there is no need of that. That's why your own work, whatever that is in your life, is this clear? These are this is very, very important. Okay, any questions? Sorry, I forgot the fourth quarter, which is the most. So this samatva, why should I be sama, Bhagwan? What is the same? Samatvam yoga uchyate. Most important part of this verse. Because why should I attain samatva? Because samatvam itself is yoga. Yoga is joining to me, to Bhagwan. Yoga, yuj dhatu, to join. So this samatvam itself is what is joining with me. Why? Because I am samatva. I am sama. I am equanimous. Like the sun, I've given you many times example. Sun doesn't say there is a crime going on, there is a satsang going on, I will not shine here, I will shine there. Sun has no choice but to shine. Bhagwan also has, Bhagwan is described as choiceless existence. Choiceless, because Bhagwan does not have any choice but to shine. Okay, and remain equanimous. He was the same in Duryodhan and he was the same in Arjun. It was not different. It was not different. There is not a different consciousness in a criminal and a different consciousness. It is the same. Samatva is there, but the upadhi is defective. The mind is defective. So the mind is what is creating all this. Duryodhan had a lot of ego. So it's a defect in the mind, but there is no defect in the consciousness. So it is sama. So if you remain sama, you are one with that supreme consciousness at that point. Samatvam yoga uchyate is extremely important. So choiceless exists. So if I want to become like, you know, there's a saying, as you think, so shall you become. Okay, right? We have that. So now if Brahman is sama, then I want to be like Brahman, say like Brahman right now at this stage. I am Brahman, but I don't know that. So I want to be, then what I should be sama too. So if it is choiceless existence, then my existence also should be choiceless. The less choices you give yourself, the closer you will be to Brahman. When there are many choices, what happens? Agitation. That's why in the ashram there was no choice. This is where I actually it's a good learning experience. For 2 years, you know, we had no choice. There was chanting class at 6:30. Of course, students were sleeping in and all that, but those who were sincere, most of the ones who attended were the guest students. We were all seniors, so all guest students were there, and the young brahmacharis used to sleep in. But there was no choice. 6:30 there was this, 7 o'clock there was tea, 8 o'clock there was lecture, this time there was breakfast, this time there was lunch, this time there was lecture, this time this, and just 6 saris for 2 years. That's it. You go rotate. White saris. No choice. And everybody's, that's why even in school when there is uniform, it's very good. There's no choice. The child has no choice. Today, what should I wear? It means half an hour, the girls, means teenage girls will just sit, this, should I wear this or that or that or that? So that one aspect of agitation is taken away. When I don't give myself a choice, there is no agitating. I have to wear white. Okay, so what is there? No. So our life also, you know, like, if you think about it, when there is no, this is what I have to do. This is what, so when I lead a disciplined life, so how do I become choiceless? I lead a disciplined life. So it comes down to discipline. So when it is my discipline to get up at this time, I have no choice. I have to get up. Okay, it is my discipline to go for, okay, I have no choice. I have to go for, then it is, I have to be at class at certain time. Okay, so there is no choice. Then I have to eat lunch. No, there is no choice. There's no choice. There's no choice. So when there is no choice, discipline, when you maintain, There is no choice. Like I had no choice of going to the airport at the time. She said, no, don't worry. She's from here, you know. She said, no, I'll call a cab. I said, yeah, fine. Or you go early and you sit at the airport early. She said, no, I'm not willing to do that. I said, okay. Then there is no choice. Choiceless existence is Brahman. So try to be as choiceless as possible. So that's why, you know, when we say, I don't like this, I don't like that, then this and this and this, then in variety, there is, in manyness, there is many varieties. So if you go into it, it's hard. Okay, that's why samatvam yoga uchyate. Was there something? Yeah. Okay, so this is what always happens to me. So I have this book. Unfortunately, it's in Hindi, but next time I go to India, if I can get in English, it's Samatvam Yoga Uchyate, and Swami Tejomayanji has given a lecture on this. It was just one of the books that I was reading, and I thought, oh wow, I have to talk about Samatvam Yoga Uchyate anyways. So in the very end, the conclusion, he says, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate, the lecture he begins with, how do I remain sama? This is what, you know, if samatvam is the yoga to join, then what should I do to remain equanimous? That is the idea of this lecture. So first he says, apne vyaktigat, I will translate, but this is Hindi. Apne vyaktigat raga dvesha chhod dena. Vyaktigat, personal. Raga dvesha, likes, dislikes. So the first principle is to give up likes and dislikes. Dusra, second, सब कुछ अपने ही कर्मों का फल है ऐसे जान लेना. So this is with regard to the result. So when the result comes, this is what I told you in the last verse also, this karma phala is coming because of many factors. One of them is the action that I've done in the present, but 90% of it I have done in the past. The result is dependent on what I have done in the past. And that's why I have no control over the result. So you may as well maintain equanimity. So knowing that the result is coming because of my own past karmas, take any one of this, you know, first you reduce likes and dislikes. Then second is with regard to the result. तीसरा है, परम तत्व ही सत्य है, बाकी जितना भी दृश्य पदार्थ है वह सब मिथ्या है. So परम तत्व ही सत्य है, the absolute truth, the truth is only God. Param Satya, absolute truth is, that is the only real thing. Everything else is mithya. So the karma that I did also is mithya actually, and also because he is talking general, and also the result that comes is also mithya. This part we cannot tell children, huh? Students we cannot tell this, but this, because we have studied so much, this is okay. And this is a general lecture. चौथा है, जो हो रहा है सब भगवान की लीला हो रही है, अतः अपना ध्यान भगवान में लगाए रखना. So whatever is happening is because of the sanction of the Lord. Bhagwan ki leela, it's a play. I've told you many times, even a blade of grass cannot move unless the Lord sanctions. So there's no way that COVID could have played havoc unless God has sanctioned it. So understanding, knowing, having a firm determination of the fact that whatever is happening because of the Lord's wish, surrender to the Lord. Okay, this is from Swami Tejomayanji. I told you, every time I do some topic, the book comes. This is what I think is, that is my Guru's grace. That is what I feel. Okay, any questions? Yes, Narayanji.
You quoted the example of dropping the person at the airport. I'm just trying to put this in my situation. When an Aditi comes at that time, unannounced, how would one should handle that situation?
If the Athithi comes unhandled, unexpected, which in this country is quite kind of rare. So what time is he arriving at? Is he arriving during your class time?
That's right. That is the reason of the question, because what is dharma? Is it to say that Aditi saying, wait till I finish the class, or to...
Okay. So, there, first of all, does this guest have time?
No, doesn't.
He doesn't have time. Okay. Then that means, has he come for a particular reason?
Yes.
Okay. So can that reason be, is it an emergency reason? Or is it just a high hello reason? Because see, it could be, you know what, I need to go to the emergency room. It could be, I have a problem, right? You need to leave your lecture and go. Yeah, it depends. But he's like, oh, I just want to talk about something. Okay, then we can talk after an hour, or we can talk on the phone, or we come some other time, because this is my class time. So it depends. With her, I knew, my guest arrived yesterday. I knew that she also knows I have class. I said, you know, it's my class, though I'm not missing. It's my last class. There's no way. I gave her a choice. I'll drop you before class. As long as I can come back by 9:15, I'll drop you at 8:30. I have no problem. She said, no. I'll take a taxi. Okay, fine. And she's an adult. She's like, it's not like, you know, no danger, no nothing. I said, okay, call a taxi. So you have to make a choice, right?
I have another question.
Yeah.
When you said that you don't try to express these things to children, you know, when about samatvam and all this kind of thing, but many times it is also, I find, very difficult to even to communicate these to the grown-up children. I understand where you're coming from. I can very easily say to myself, and also, you know, it's all treated as just Buddha ka baat hai.
No. That's why we do Bal Vihar, na? That's why Bal Vihar is there, so that right from young age, we start putting these ideas in their head. So suddenly, if you tell like this, very honestly, I can't tell all this to my own children. But then what I can do for them to do karma, even with doership, is, even in school, one thing I had always told them, they need to mentor somebody who is in a lower class or this thing. Both my children, always from high school, even through law school, my daughter has mentored. She was in second year, she was mentoring the first year students. So that part I have always instilled. And now I instill charity. I say, no, donate. So those things I do, but I don't do, I have, you know, and accept, if it's something, accept it, you know, and that's all I tell them. Accept it, it's okay, it's happened, right? So it's hard. That's why we have to start at an early age. We'll take up one more verse. It's a simple verse, 49. What is the 50th? Maybe we can finish 50.
Jayaji.
Yes.
I also wanted to say the same thing about this. When you said this is mithya, this word mithya becomes very controversial when we are talking to young teenagers or even to our Balvia children sometimes.
But so, you shouldn't be using mithya word in the class.
No. I don't use in the Balvia class, but you know, like young teenagers or people who are not used to coming to our Balvia classes, you know, for them sometimes Hindu culture is mithya. This is their general outlook in some of the young people today, even in India or even here, who don't come to Balvia, who don't understand anything. So this explanation sometimes is so scaring sometimes to talk about also. If they really don't have any background, then it becomes very, very difficult to make them understand that this is something very high. I mean, you know.
See, the one thing you have to understand is this knowledge is only for ourselves. It is to change ourselves. It is never to tell other people or the person who is not ready to listen or who is not asking for it. Okay, when something hits them, like I told you, there's a couple of ladies, they lost their husbands, then they went into depression, then they were given my name. Now it was the right time for me to tell them, because I have lived it. So they believe me, because they look at me. I said, look at me. I have gone exactly through the same situation that you have. And your husbands or their husbands were actually suffering. They were, cancer patients. They suffered for 2 years, then they passed. I said, think about me. My husband was healthy. Within a minute, he was gone, right? Then they say, oh, I said, 2 years you had to prepare. And what life did your husbands have? They were bedridden at a young age, right? But then they had no background. So then their friends only started getting bored. Children. One friend's son told me, the mom is doing like this. What should we do? Now I'm turning, now she's constantly in touch with me, and every single time I say, no, this. Now she's turning around. Now she's understanding, right? So the person has to be ready for this knowledge. This knowledge is very, very high. So we change ourselves and then we become a role model. Now she believes me 100%. Why? Because she sees me. I am living that life. So you live that life. What is being told to you, you live a life like that, and then let them make their own judgments. They will look, see, role model. That's why even for children, they say role modeling is very important, na? Isn't it? Yeah. Like when your children are growing up, the Gurudev's famous example, you can't have a cigarette in your mouth and say, oh son, smoking is bad. Okay, you don't do it. That's, it's not. So they see, she sees, she's now driving to, Surrey. She said, you know what, you come with me. I want to drive to Surrey, because she saw me driving alone to Surrey, right? To see Mrs. Kapai. She also knows. And she was always coming with me. And she says, no, Jaya, now one day I want to drive. Okay, good. I said, yeah, be independent, right? So that's what I'm telling her. Don't, this thing. So when you yourself become a role model, whatever you say, it's convincing. Because if I was only myself dependent on people for rides and this and that, and then I'm telling her, then it's not convincing. So you change yourself. Gurudev has said this, you change yourself and the world around you will change. Right? And the knowledge is always, that's why even Vivekji said, which I have always said, knowledge, if it is converted into practice, is knowledge. Otherwise, it is only information. And information always comes out when other people need it. And when you don't know, I have got people giving, kya, soul doesn't die, but khud ke karma, anything happens means finish. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. First, you show them by your behavior. I am not fearful of death. I know I'm not the body. And you behave like that also. It's not like you just say and then you're like a frightened rabbit. No. You behave also like that. Then your words will have, even in Sandipani, they told us, Swamiji used to tell us, you better walk the talk. Otherwise, your words will not be convincing. I cannot say anything which I'm not doing. I don't. That's why I don't know if I've shared the story with you. Ramakrishna Paramhansa, one lady came to him and said, my young kid, 10, 12 years old, is too much sweet tooth he has. He eats too many sweets and all that. So Ramakrishna Paramhansa said, okay, you go and come back after 1 month. And those days, they used to live far away in the villages and they had to walk and all, So she said, okay, he's telling me to come after 1 month. So she went away with the son, and 1 month back, afterwards, she came back. And then Ramakrishna Paramhansa looked at the child, don't eat sweets, okay? She was furious. She said, to utter this line, 1 month you made me wait and walk again all this distance. What is the point? He said, no, because that time I had not given up sweets. When I told you to come after a month, I gave up all the sweets. I knew it could be done. And now I'm telling the child, give up sweets. So what I cannot do, I must not ask somebody else to do. That's why it is better that you have already done it. And then you say, okay, now this can be done. Yeah, you can drive. I said, I learned, I had also, honestly, previously, Surrey was like Bonies to me. Really, I will tell you. It's like, Surrey, okay, what is that? Okay, that was like, God knows where. I started, fortunately, my husband was there. When we started classes in Surrey, in Ruchi's house, that's when I started driving. Then my husband said, there's nothing, Surrey is not that bad, you know, okay, now get the Alex Fraser and do this and then I got the, but he gave me the confidence also. He said, it's not, because you see, when someone, I have friends who they say, oh, and then the husband saying, yeah, it's so difficult. Then both of them are saying, then how that person will drive? But if, because my husband used to drive everywhere, like he was very, very good. He said, what is there? What your, this thing, sorry, just give me the address. And that time there was no Google Maps. So he actually, you know, he said, this, take this, and this, go. So once I went, then I became very familiar. Then I have no problems. And I'm lucky. I mean, I feel lucky that he gave me that confidence. Now I have the confidence of driving, right? Of anywhere. I mean, driving I was doing. I have friends who drive only within the Vancouver Superstore, Fruticana, and that's it. Main Street Fraser and home. They do outside. Now there's another Marathi funeral coming up on Tuesday. No way, Boundary and Hastings. Hastings, God knows where is Hastings. Hastings and Boundary, they cannot go alone. So, you know. Can I quickly take 49? It's a simple verse. Durena yavaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjaya buddhau sharanam anvichha kripana phala hetavaha. For lower than the yoga of wisdom is action, O Dhananjaya. Seek thou refuge in wisdom. Wretched are they whose motive is the fruit. Now, one thing, two things you have to understand clearly. Yoga of wisdom does not mean jnana yoga. Because you might think wisdom, knowledge. No. Wisdom is buddhi here. Buddhi yoga dhananjaya. Durena yavaram is lower. Durena yavaram karma. So karma is only karma and buddhi yoga is karma yoga. So where it's translated lower than yoga of wisdom, it is lower than karma yoga or lower than buddhi yoga. So yoga of wisdom, because the word wisdom is there, because that's why we said buddhi. We have explained what type of buddhi should be there, what type of wisdom should be there while doing an action. So having that buddhi and doing action is superior than just doing action for the result. I want this, therefore I do this. I want this, I want to enjoy, so I do this. I want to enjoy, so I do. That is lower. This is what Bhagavan is saying here, okay? So please understand that. O Dhananjaya, seek thou refuge in wisdom. Wisdom here is not jnana. It is not verse 11 to 30. This whole portion is karma yoga, okay? So even if the word wisdom means what? Understand the principles of karma yoga. And understanding is through intellect. Understanding has to come through intellect only. Jnana also has to come through intellect. But even this understanding of how I should be doing karma outside has to arise in the intellect, na? Method and attitude, we said, right? These buddhis, we said. Buddhi is what? Intellect. Mindset of duty, mindset of asangata, samatha, prasad. This is a mindset. So this is what seek thou refuge in wisdom means, in the wisdom with which karma is to be done. That's what this is. Wretched, Bhagavan is calling them wretched, are those whose motive is the fruit. That's all they're doing. This is what I want. This is what I'll do. This is what I want. This is what I'll do. So there is no method and attitude involved. It is just the act, the result. That's what he spoke about, the flowery language. That is what the karma kanda of the Vedas are doing. You want this, you do this. You want this, you do this. You want this, that's it. Nothing further. There also Bhagavan said, Arjun, don't be like that. Don't be like that. Before that, Bhagavan said, just do. Because, so that's why even we have to have these categories. So for the student, we leave it, just do, because doing is better than not doing. So just do for the student. Do. Carrot, show him, give him carrots. You will get this, gold stars. At one stage, gold stars, then gold star will not be enough. Then few dollars, you have to up the ante, because at once, what gold star, mom? Forget it. I don't want your gold stars, right? So up it. That's okay. That's okay, because they're children. They're children. doership and all that, it's too much for them. So that, but doing, so not doing is better than not doing. Therefore Bhagavan gave those verses where he told Arjun, people will laugh at you, you do whatever. You can say that, oh, you know, that kid got better marks than you, you better work hard, whatever it is you do, because doing is better than not doing. And then doing with a particular method and attitude, a particular buddhi, is far superior than just doing. Wretched, Bhagavan is calling them wretched. Wretched are those. So we don't want to be wretched. We don't want to be. If others are, let them be. Okay. Next was, there is a important this thing, yoga karmasu kaushalam. So I will stop here today.